in 2007, 25,000 people walked 360 kilometers from Gwalior to Delhi. 28 days, Government of India came in action and announced, we are going to fulfill your demand. After that, the 4 years have been left. Government did not take any action on their commitment.
So I was writing letters, I was traveling across the country, I was broadening the organization and saying, look, if you don't act by 2011, you have it.
Then finally, the Ekta Parshad announced Jan Satyagraha, People's Movement. From 2nd October 2012, 100,000 people will be on road.
At the moment we are less number, but then from Agra more will join, Mathura more will join, Palwal more will join. By the time we reach Delhi, we will be 100,000 people.
These are landless people who are Dalits, Adivasis, fisher folks, nomads, urban poor, women, children, all sections of society who have been marginalized, who have been deprived.
Poor people have a lot of power. Poor people can sleep on the road and they will not complain about it. Poor people can eat once in a day and still dance and sing. So these are powers of the poor people.
People who are extremely marginalized, walking for 1 month on the highway, leaving their families at a time of harvest. The harvest is the time when they can make most money. If they lose the harvest season, they are losing food for 6 months.
You need to convert the weakness of the poor into strength. There are 12,500 trained young people.
20 leaders are the top, each one responsible for mobilizing 5,000 people. Now they can't go and mobilize one person at a time. What they would do is build the capacity of the second level leadership. Each person would be responsible to mobilize, to train 10 second level leaders. So you have a total of 200 second level leaders being guided and supported by the first level leaders. Each person in the second level is responsible to mobilize 500 people. How will they do this? They do this by developing the capacity of the third level leadership. The third level leadership would be responsible to mobilize 50 people each. And the third level will do this by developing the capacity of the fourth level, who will be responsible to mobilize 10 people. So in mobilizing 10 people, you have grown in your capacity. So the next time you do an action, you can mobilize 50 people. The next time you do an action, you can mobilize 500 people. Everybody who is at the top started at the fourth level. At some point, they were able to mobilize only 10 people. But in carrying out one action after the other, they grew in the capacity to lead 5,000 people. So that is the training component. It is designed in a way where people's capacity grow.
From a village level work, finally culminating into a national work, then creating linkages with international forces, and then making it global. The difference between 2007 and 2012 will be scaling up number of people who act non-violently. A lot of government officials were using this as an opportunity to tell their own staff members what is discipline. From where we began the yatra, they were sending all their staff to visit us, saying that go and see what is discipline. You need to learn from these poor people what is discipline in life. And today you can see these very ordinary people who don't have a shoe on their feet, who don't have good clothes, who are very poor, are able to stand together to challenge the mighty state. And this is a long process. And I think that process is very important in democracy.
Nari
People who are working here, they have collected one handful of rice for last 3 years, collected 1 rupee for 3 years. So when they come, they are not only coming to work, they are also bringing their contribution in terms of grain and money. So it's a huge training process, and I hope a lot more people will learn from this process.
There is a basic foundation training that is given by the senior leadership of Ekta Parishad. They build an understanding of the social issues, how to communicate those social issues through song, through slogans, through dramas, and through community work by working in the villages. When there is a large amount of alcohol that is coming into the village, and it is destroying the moral and social culture, because men are getting drunk, women are getting beaten, children are not getting food because money is being diverted to alcohol, then groups of women will be collectivized to sit and learn how to press on the alcohol shop owners and the politicians to close the shop. That's an education. That takes time. Then once they close the alcohol shop, they say, okay, we now understand we have some power, some social power to do some good.
There are so many poor people constantly migrating to cities and facing poverty, facing violence. You need to use non-violence effectively. And if your scale of non-violence is not good enough to shake the government, you build it up to a scale that will shake the government. This is what I learned.
कितने लोग
जमीन के लिए नहीं आए हैं, पट्टा चाहने।
कितने लोग आए हैं?
1000 लोग आए हैं। 1000 है।
हम चाह रहे हैं कि जन सत्याग्रह के माध्यम से लोगों को अगर जमीन मिलती है तो लोग पलायन कम होंगे लोगों का, और वो अपने जमीन का उत्पादन करके अपना भरण पोषण कर सकते हैं। दूसरा मांग ये है हमारा कि जो लोगों के पास थोड़ी थोड़ी जमीन है उसको सरकार विकास के नाम पर बड़े बड़े डैम बना रहे हैं, कारखाने खुलवा रहे हैं, सीमेंट फैक्ट्रियां वहां पैदा कर रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से कई गांव बर्बाद हो रहे हैं। कई गांव को बेदखली की नोटिस आ गई है, जबरदस्ती लोगों को मुआवजा दिया जा रहा है। लोग नहीं चाह रहे हैं अपनी जमीन छोड़ें, पर सरकार पूरे पूंजीपतियों के संरक्षण में लगी हुई है और लोगों को गांव से छोड़ने के लिए मजबूर कर रही है। धार में आप देखेंगे पिथनपुर पूरा 123 गांव खत्म हो गया है। कहाँ गया 123 गांव के लोग? कौन से फुटपाथ में जी रहे हैं? कहीं नहीं दिखाई देते हैं। वहाँ जंगल बिल्कुल खत्म हो गया है, जंगल पर निर्भरता बिल्कुल खत्म हो गई लोगों की। अब सिर्फ रोजगार बचा है। लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि हमको जल जंगल जमीन हमको दे देंगे तो हम अपने परिवार का बहुत अच्छी तरह से भरण पोषण कर सकते हैं। जब 2007 में हम 25,000 लोग यहाँ से ग्वालियर से दिल्ली की ओर कूच किए थे तो वन अधिनियम कानून बना। उस कानून के तहत लोगों ने 2008 में अपने दावे प्रस्ताव भरे पंचायत में, और 2009 में लोगों को पट्टा वितरण हुआ। 2010 और 11 में लोगों को डुबा दिया गया उसी जमीन को, और अभी उनको बेदखल किया जा रहा है कोई बिना मुआवजा के। तो ये सरकार लोगों को जीना देना चाहती है या गरीबों को मारकर उस पर विकास योजना चलाना चाहती है? तो ये बहुत बड़ी विडंबना है। सरकार दो मुहा है, दोनों तरफ बात करती है। तो ये सवाल बहुत बड़ी सवाल है, पर सरकार के लिए बहुत छोटी है। सरकार लगातार अमीरों के संरक्षण में लगी हुई है, जिसका हम विरोध कर रहे हैं और करते रहेंगे।
My father was partially involved in freedom struggle of India. So in my family there was a bit of this idea of sacrificing for larger good, the good of all, what we call Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya means well-being of all. And well-being of all is not possible if I say I am only interested in me and my wealth, my family, my life. It's important to care for all religions, not only the religion in which you are born. So I was grown up like that. So I have this spirit, Gandhian spirit we call it in me.
One of the biggest educations is for people not to see their problems as my problems, but to see it as our problems. As soon as they can objectify from my to us, then they've graduated in that kind of educational process. we have seen over 25 years, people go from saying, I can't do anything because God has made me a Dalit or an Adivasi, and I'm not able to be anything but what I am. That initial attitude to, yes, I have the power, I can change, I'm a leader, I want to be in the Jan Satyagraha, I want to bring 1,000 people into the Jan, I will learn how to discipline and represent their demands. And I think this is the educational process.
In a globalizing world where the state is committed to sell off all natural resources, land, forest and water, unless you create this mechanism of control, they will sell the country and go away.
Women and men from her community, she is totally internalized nonviolence. She's doing it from the sense of being a mother, a daughter-in-law, and a mother-in-law. She is in this movement to ensure that people get land. That's the kind of education we bring to totally illiterate and semi-literate people in order to help them understand the social realities and how they themselves can play a fundamental role as citizens of India. This shows that nonviolence works. This gives a message to all other people that by practicing nonviolence within their various alternative and formal education process, they can also press for social change. This is no doubt an education that is being done on the road.
Using non-violence so that violence can be contained. This is why people are on the road. The government is coming to talk. The government came to talk when we began the march in Gwalior, and we didn't give in. We said, no, this is not good enough. This is not an agreement that you should come and tell us after 5 years' time. So we started walking. And so day after tomorrow they are coming to Agra. And I hope everything is going to go well and we will celebrate.
Those who walk on this campaign, when they see the Prime Minister agree to the demands, somewhere deep down they then believe that there is a certain power in non-violence. They are not powerless. Their faith in non-violence, their faith in collective action becomes a little bit more stronger.
And if they commit this time and don't do, and next time you will come, you will find 1 million people marching to Delhi, but non-violently again.
भगाव सो सनत अचार के एक होई के